Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, I got Sakura, I got Rob. It's been a while, guys, but we're back in the saddle, at least for now.
For this
Uh,
week.
right. Uh, we do actually have quite a bit to talk about. Just this past week, we've had multiple things. Let's start out with Parker testing positive for cocaine.
Oh
Do
God, he
we do we think
disappointed me
he's
with that.
Yeah, do we think it's overkill? I'm hearing a 2 year suspension. Is that right?
What?
That's
Oh
what
my
I've heard.
God.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
I've heard.
overkill.
Maybe that's just an idea that's being floated, but either way, I think that's a little bit harsh. Rob, what do you think?
Well, I mean, they're mad at him. Um, I guess people were caught off guard by it. Um, but a 2 year ban is ridiculous for that because it's not really a performance enhancing situation. Like even when you're on a situation where, say, something happens on the job and you kind of test positive or whatever, a lot of times they'll give you with that type of substance, they'll give you rehab as an option and stuff like that because it's more so of a personal addiction than anything. And I mean, it could be a cry for help too. It could be a cry for help. So giving him a 2 year ban to me is not going to help him. It's really going to hinder him and whatever personal demons he's got right now.
2 years is kind of like really extreme, but I remember with the UK, even though it was kind of been his first offense, that it was like 18 months initially. Was the ban, like, was their ban on him. He ended up going like 23 months, 24 months. But it's they kind of like mean business when when they test and find out you have something going on with that BBB of C. So maybe that's what that's about. But I'm like you, Rob. I think that it ends up doing more harm to a boxer than it does good. Because we don't really know like what was going on in his mind that he felt like within 3 days of his fight he was needed to, take that particular drug. Um, is it for hype? I know our, teammate Syrian was saying that it might do have some energetic effects. Where you just keep, you got unlimited energy for a while, but
Right, but
then you
that seems like if he did a line, in the corner, and what was he say, like 15 minutes, and then that's done and over with, and then you're drained.
Yeah, it's a
yeah, I'm not
temporary
exactly
fix.
sure on
I
them.
don't know. I don't be doing coke on the regular, guys.
I think
Oh, she got cut off. But no, I mean that's not something that is performance enhancing. I don't see a reason for any kind of 2 year suspension. Now I'm not sure that what he's getting, but that's what's being floated around. I think that's a little too harsh.
They do have tougher rules in the UK. I mean, I will say that they do have. It seems like they do have a little bit uh, less leniency there, and I mean, he should get some sort of you know suspension, whatever. It shouldn't be a slap on the wrist, but even a year ban to me for that type of drug is a bit much. It's more of a personal issue that he needs to iron out. And let's just face it. Hopefully, he does take this time, whatever they give him, and he does fix it. Because you know, he derailed his career. The loss derailed it, and now he derailed it even more by testing positive.
Yeah, the loss was bad enough, but this is just kicking him in while he's down. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a suspension. Clearly, he needs something. Can't just be taking whatever you want, especially when you're in the fight game like that. But yeah, 2 year suspension. That's a bit rough.
I think wasn't it? It was Benevidez, right? That had a cocaine incident early in his
Yeah.
career. I think it was like a 6 month situation.
Yeah.
But there
Chavez
again,
Jr.
he's in
too,
the
right?
U.S., so that's different states and ABC. So it's like a different country than what Parker's going to be dealing with right now.
Right.
I mean, Benevidez at the time he was a champ, so it was however many months and vacate the title, and that really hindered him a lot because if you remember, it took him a long time just to get back to winning that title again. So
I agree, but Parker in the same situation almost because he was ranked with the WBO as like an interim champion, and then he lost it to Wardley. But then that's going to kick him completely out of that, probably out of that top 10 ranking system. Parker, I'm saying. So it's kind of like where he lost it, but he would have still been on the rankings usually, had he not popped. You just lost to like your number. Well, I don't know what number Wardley was, but it's like he wasn't even favored to win really, but ended up coming out with the victory. So, I don't think that Parker's ranking would have went down that much. But now when you add in the cocaine use, now you saying, WBO might just be like, well, you can't be on this ranking. I guess we'll find out probably in December because that's when they come out with the November, the previous month's rankings. Because right now it's still got, the old information on it.
Right. For let's talk a little bit about how Parker looked against Ward. Like, what happened in that fight? From somebody that didn't watch it, tell me what happened in that fight.
he got caught. That's all there is to it. He got caught. That happens in boxing. I didn't see a particularly bad Parker in that fight. You know,
I
um,
mean, but I didn't see him boxing or doing the sweet science like we all thought he would be using more of that in a fight with Wardley. And at times we saw him being very aggressive and really taking the fight to him, which was a different type of style. I think that more suited Wardley. Like you're fighting the fight that Wardley wants you to fight. So I was kind of like, what is he doing? I'm like, you're supposed to keep that jab going and before you start engaging with this guy that's known for his power, you need to like, let some of that power kind of drain a little bit or like subside a minute or two, in the fight. You're supposed to give it some rounds, but he went in there and he started like banging with this Wardley. I was like, what is he doing? So it wasn't our normal Parker from what we've seen lately. It was like, I don't know what the strategy was, but he came out there like in full force. Abandoned the boxing strategy.
Yeah. Sounds like
I
crazy
mean,
sporadic cocaine Parker. Yeah.
no,
That's a good
you
point.
throwing
That's a
that
good
in there.
point, Lewis.
You throwing that in there. I think he was a lack of respect for his opponent. Worley was one of the guys that they thought was one of the weaker heavyweights, one of
Mm.
the weaker contenders, pretty much, because he doesn't have that much experience. I mean, he hadn't up to that point. This was the biggest fight for him by far. Parker's used to this, and he had been on such a high roll. People thought he would be able to be aggressive and just detach this guy, and he probably thought he was going to end it early, and it came back and bit him. He got caught, and obviously what happened. He lost the fight.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's switch topics a little bit. Talk Usyk. He drops the WBO title. Why do you think that is, guys? Is he just tired of playing the mandatory type game, or what's going on here?
I mean, one thing about the WBO, they're like known. Them and the IBF, like they actually, want you to fight your mandatories, and they actually like want it to be soon. Like they want you to defend that title. So if you're not ready to just go ahead and fight somebody like 3 or 4 months after you just had a fight, then you're gonna have to like vacate that title. Plus I'm starting to feel like, well, it was one thing when he agreed that he would fight Parker, but now, it's like I don't need to fight Wardley. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like they're gonna try to put pressure on him. Actually, they're gonna try to put pressure on him for Moses. Moses Atama. I think that's how you say his name. Atama. Like Moses was like number one contender behind Parker. So now you're talking about Wardley and you're talking about Moses. So it's kind of like, that's the whole new generation. Um, and I just think he just wasn't ready to fight right now. And then two, it's kind of like money. It's like I can save money if I just vacate this and not, have to deal with that right now if I'm not ready to fight. That's what I think. But that's just me trying to be introspective. Who knows what his, reasoning might be. Or maybe his injury to his back is still going on and he was, tired of WBO inquiring and wanting verification after his smooth dance moves. Usyk can dance.
Yeah, yeah, you can. I think most decent boxers can dance. Anybody with foot movement. Rob, is the WBO just wanting them sanctioning fees? Is that what this is? Want you to hurry along with this title fight so we get our name out there, we get our fees.
Yeah, but I'm kind of confused behind this one because it going back to the Du Bois fight, Usyk and them said they wanted to be actively back in the ring. That they wanted more opponents this year. So I'm a little confused why he just dropped it. Yeah, the articles all read that WBO was pressuring him into immediately stepping up and taking on Wardley next, and they wanted an answer. They definitely were pressuring him for that. But unless there's some sort of injury or something like that, I don't get it. Also, it said that they were permitting him grace. They were permitting him grace if he wanted to hold off for about immediately, but they wanted to know what his. They really just were wanting to know his intentions and him to commit to something, and he just wasn't willing to do that. And I'm a little taken aback by that because you see at this point, like I said, I thought he wanted to remain active. He wanted to be an active fighter. But then sometimes you hear he's thinking about retiring here and there too, and going on and doing something else. So I'm like the WBO. I want the man to commit to either be you're gonna be an active fighter or you're not. I need these guys to stop dropping these belts because they don't want to fight contenders. Wardley is now the new WBO champ, flat out. They awarded him the championship today after Usyk vacated it. So that tells you right there they wanted that fight next, and Usyk didn't want to do it.
But
And also, I don't like this whole like just make somebody a champ. Like it just feel like that should be a vacated title, and the next two people in line should fight each other for this title. Like, why just go ahead and be like, okay, he's new champion?
yeah, I don't know. That just feels cheap. Nobody believes in that champ anyway.
Yeah, and then on top of it, it's like you was putting pressure on the current champion that you just had to wanted him to just fight and defend his title, but then you're gonna turn around and just give it to, the next person that you know preemptively has the interim belt.
I mean,
Like you
I
gotta stay
agree with it.
consistent with me. I gotta have that consistency of like
But
you want the champion to have defended and fought like fought somebody on your rankings. I mean, so you want to, so even if that champion is no longer your champion, it seemed like you still would want somebody to just fight.
yeah, but I mean, he did. He fought and beat Parker. Everybody said Parker was the man next for Usyk. They all were
Right,
wanting to see that fight. Worthy
right.
went ahead and did it. I feel like I don't feel like he owes anybody anything. He already went out and proved it in the
Who
ring
you
versus
talking?
But
You
Parker.
talking about Usyk though? I'm talking about the WBO.
I
I was
mean,
talking about the sanctioning body. Like,
I'm talking about either. Really, does one win over Parker mean that you're now in line? Is that what
Yes,
that means? I don't
yes,
know. I don't know.
apparently, it mean you the champion now. If the other champion,
yes.
if the real
I agree.
champion vacates,
I mean, personally, I'd like to see a rematch. But that's
that's
just me.
true.
I don't like to see nothing just handed over, and who knows if that was just a fluke. We haven't really seen Wardley in a lot of other competitive type fights. He has no other big names on his resume. This was it. This
I
was his
mean,
coming out
the
party.
boy know how to win. That's the main thing. It's like he know how to win. Like nobody can't knock him for knowing how to win. Like it's one thing you know how to box, you know how to slug, you know how to punch. This guy knows how to make all of that work for him and actually win fights when the odds are not in his favor. So I'll give him credit for that. But what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that the WBO should just hand this title over him when it was an interim title. Like it wasn't like he fought the actual champion for it. Even if Usyk doesn't want to, that doesn't mean that he shouldn't have to fight the next person in line, which is that Moses Atamo that is supposed to be next in line. So I guess they'll try to make that fight. But a interesting thing, guys, could be that maybe Usyk also was considering a fight with AJ, okay, for February if it wasn't Fury. So that could have also played in with him not wanting to fight a Wardley right now or an Atama right now because he knows that his attention is gonna be with somebody else that's um not on the rankings for WBO or he is on the rankings for
Yeah, I
WBO.
mean, I don't know how many more fights he has. If we're being honest, Usyk's probably somewhat on his way out. So I can see him holding off, trying to get winner of AJ versus Fury. Just fighting them again, one of them again. Maybe both. Who knows? Those are money fights. That's
Yeah.
there, but this is a little reward, big risk for him to take on these smaller names. So either way, I get it. But and speaking of AJ, this is a good transition. Move over to Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Rob, first I'm going to come to you. How upset are you that Jake Paul is not fighting Gervonta Tank Davis?
I mean, Tank, that's Tank's fault. I
Right.
can't be mad at anybody. That's Tank's fault. If anything, I'll tip my hat to Jake Paul for not giving him that chance because it really was a retirement check for Tank. He wanted to put that money in the bank so he could go sit down somewhere for a little while. And now you don't have that opportunity anymore, Tank. So now what you gonna do? I mean,
It's true.
now what you gonna do? You obviously have demons that you're trying to face. Get it together, young man. I'm sick of it. So yeah, am I disappointed? Yes, but I'm disappointed, extremely disappointed in Gervonta Tank Davis. Extremely disappointed in that.
I don't even know
That
why we bringing up tanking this. I'm over that. I want to get on to like I mean this is a actually
It's an intro into
uninteresting type fight to see. I mean, 8 rounds, 3 minute rounds, and it's two heavyweights. They the same size, Well, actually, Anthony Joshua's kind of way taller than he got a couple of inches over on Jake Paul, but nevertheless, to me, that's more interesting to see them and in action in the ring and see the dynamics of what this fight would look like, and it's more interesting to me than a tank fight was going to be anyway. So I'm actually thinking, it's a lot more pressure on AJ than Jake to me.
That's true.
Cause yeah, like AJ got all the pressure on him. Like if he was to come out and didn't look good against Jake, or Jake actually knocked him out or something like that wouldn't look too good when you're the actual boxer. Whereas Jake, people aren't expecting as much out of him. I think they underestimate him for sure, because
Oh,
just because he has opponents that are easier to win in the past doesn't mean that he isn't in that gym and actually learning the sweet science as he goes. But I think people underestimate Jake Paul, so anything is possible in this fight. Now, here's the thing: if Anthony Joshua wins and he gets to KO, or he anything that Anthony does that's a win, it's just gonna help catapult him, because now he's had the benefit of having Jake Paul's fans looking at him, and being and getting more familiar with him as a boxer. So, that's only gonna increase his following.
that's true.
Now,
No, I don't mean. I'm sorry. Hang on just a second. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah. Um.
Okay.
So my take on it is, um, in my opinion, it's a good fight. Um, because now we're not seeing a 60-pound weight difference or whatever the hell it was with Tank, and it's supposed to be the schematics of it is Luke is supposed to be a regulated sanctioned bout, regulated heavyweight bout. Now they do have modified rules. It's supposed to be 8 rounds, 3 minute rounds at that. So it's going to be 8 3-minute rounds, but they are doing the 10-ounce gloves as opposed to like the 14-ounce that he tried with Tyson.
Mm.
So they've agreed to sanction this as a heavyweight bout.
That means that they're going to be more fists flying in this one though. 10-ounce glove versus 14 that he had with Tyson. Woo, I don't know, man. This is as a boxing fan, knowing Anthony Joshua and how Anthony Joshua fights. One day he's looking like the prime boxer that we thought he was, and the next day he's getting knocked out in 2 rounds. And that glass chin, I don't even know if it's glass anymore. I want to say is made out of egg, a robin egg at times. Are we worried that Jake Paul may just turn boxing on its head right here? Because Joshua's taking some shots, and I think that thing is broke open.
and that's why I get back to, like, is this a real professional bout, or is this an exhibition?
Gotta
Because
get the yeast stuff.
yeah, like, because it's like, if it is, then yes, AJ has the possibility of getting knocked out by Jake Paul, because the boy got power. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Paul does have natural power. There's no doubt about that. But the problem is, you get in there and you're doing exhibitions and stuff, and people, think you're not serious about your craft, when that you do have actual serious power, which actually, as an opponent of his, you thinking you won the money lottery, and not thinking about the fact that this guy could like really knock you out. And in Anthony Joshua's case, that is a real possibility.
Yeah, I mean it's scary to think, but Jake Paul does swing some haymakers, and Joshua gets touched a little too often. It could end badly, but my thing is, even let's flip it the opposite way. Jake Paul's already lost before to an actual boxer,
Mm.
Tommy Fury. AJ clearly better than a Tommy Fury, right?
Mhm.
So, in all honesty, we should be looking at Jake Paul getting embarrassed, and that comes to me as would it be a legit fight? Because he's worth so much now just doing these exhibition things. Is anybody going to keep buying into a Jake Paul if Anthony Joshua sparks his ass?
Well,
Yeah.
and let's not forget, AJ does have experience in this world where
Yeah.
he fought Negreanu. And Negreanu looked good at first in like the first round or something like that, and then Joshua was like, "Nah, bruh," and then KO'd his ass. You know. So I think if that was to happen, then yes, Jake Paul has a serious branding issue if that happens. But look at all the memes that'll be out there, especially if he gets knocked out early like that. Look at all the memes that will happen, all the people coming back that he's talked shit to before in the past. All of that is gonna be brought out. So yeah, I mean this is very risky for Jake Paul. It's very risky.
If Paul lasts 10 rounds, I'm automatically
It's
assuming it's
only
fixed.
8. It's only going to be
Okay,
8.
my bad. If he lasts all 8, I'm going to think that this is fixed. This
And
is a
3 minutes
problem for
at that.
Paul. Hey, 3-minute rounds. That's what it's supposed to be. That's all right. 8 3-minute rounds for Paul. That's okay. But that's still 8 rounds with a real uh, former champ. You know what I mean? It's if
You
he
think
goes
it's a stretch?
if he goes all 8, all this is fixed, right? But
Well, I
Tyson, we
just
already thought he was carrying Tyson, but this we will know. We will know that either Josh will let him hang in there or Paul wasn't trying either one of the two. But we will know for sure if he lasts all 8 rounds.
well, I mean, it's important to just remember that there are a couple of fights out there for Jake Paul, even if he were to lose. And that's just the truth of it. I mean, he still garners a lot of money. And we gotta think about I would love to see the Tommy Fury rematch because I don't think Jake Paul did that bad in that fight. Like, I mean, for him to be a novice at the time, I felt like he, really did a lot better than people thought he was going to do. I mean, he didn't like Tommy was blowing him out or anything in that fight, just outboxed him, and he wasn't really trying to tag him too much. So, I mean, I thought he did all right in that one. So,
He
I
did.
still would like to see that rematch. And then, of course, people want to see him actually fight in that cruiserweight division he said he wanted to fight in. I mean, I wouldn't even mind, like, I don't know why Ngannou was talking about, like, I dare you to ask me, about fighting you or whatever, because I thought that was a good matchup too, Ngannou. So, and now he done made it a beef where he's like, I dare you ask me to fight, and Jake Paul, you're a silly YouTuber. Like, and I'm like, dude,
That's
you
what
just
I'd be
had two
doing.
fights that you shouldn't have been in the same way.
Yeah. I
It
think
was
that's what I'd be
entertainment.
doing.
Yeah, it was like entertainment boxing with, the two fights he had. So it's like, come on now. Start acting like you all better than Jake Paul is. I mean, how?
Paul's he's worth a ton of money. So yeah, I mean I want to fight Jake Paul. I'm calling you out, Jake Paul, right now. Fight this dude from heavy bad boxing. You know what I mean? I'll fight you tomorrow. I don't need no training. All I'm asking for is a cool meal. That's it.
Right.
Everybody else can get paid way more. So,
Hey, look,
but
hey,
point made.
you need to add a cool meal and pay the hospital bill. Okay.
I thought that was included. That's always included. That's on top, meal on top of whatever you do to me. Uh,
Well,
But
I know one thing. I'll be like, well, I need you to knock me out early. I ain't trying to do no rough round after round with you, and then you knock me out. I need you to knock me out early so I can come out with my faculties. I don't have a lot of damage on me, so that's how I would be. I want to put that in the clause.
I, I'm somewhat looking forward to this more than the Javante Davis. That was going to be too weird. The size difference was a little bit too crazy for me. I will say Jake Paul. I really wish he had just kind of came along in boxing. I do see some some talent there. It's just it's never going to come to full fruition because he's never really going to go through those rankings. You know what I mean? He's never going to come up on those undercards and stuff like that. He just automatically gets thrown into the spotlight. And I get it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if we're seeing real fights. You know what I mean? I severely doubt it. I think this fight will be very telling on how Jake Paul does fight. The Tommy Fury fight, like Sakura was saying, I think he fought well. He's coordinated even a lot more than Tommy Fury was. He was putting combinations better. Tommy Fury just boxed him. That's all it was. But we got a lot to talk about for this weekend too, so maybe we should get into that. Because I think it's a better fight. The co-main. Let's talk about the main event first, because I do think that the co-main is a little bit better. I agree with Sakura. I think you said that too in our group chat there. Of course, I'm talking about Haney and Brian Norman being the better fight. That should be the main. But we got Benevidez versus Yarde. I can't get up for this fight, guys. I don't know. Sell it to me. But I just don't. I don't see it. I see a Benevidez win. I see a short Benevidez fight. I mean, mid fight maybe. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, Yarde is very durable. That's one thing people can say about him for sure. Like he
Taking some
goes into the
beatings though.
later rounds.
Yeah, but how
Normally.
long can he keep sustaining that though?
I agree with you that, his defensive measures have never been the greatest. I wish that, his team had worked on that a lot more. Because it seems to me when he gets a lot of damage when he's in fights. So but let's just say Benavidez gets this win. Most people are expecting Benavidez to get the win. But I gotta give my hats off to Yarde for taking that fight, you know, because Benavidez is gonna come in there as the bigger man with the faster hands, with a little bit more boxing skills. And Yarde, he's kind of like he's a road warrior where he's like kind of like learned on the job, more so than Benavidez. So people got to give him credit for wanting to be in this fight. And I'm not going to count him completely out because he could have some tricks in his toolbox too. Either, come on strong early on when Benavidez, might not be as strong as he usually, gradually gets into the fight. So if I'm Yarde team, I would be like, yo, start out strong, like, see what you can do with him in the first couple of rounds. Um, because, he's not really known for his power, is he, Benavidez? He's more known for, having the fast hands, and it's how that benefits him is that, it's always that punch that you don't see that can lay you out or, discombobulate you.
Yeah,
So that's how
more
that's
like
a benefit.
like an accumulation type thing. He just puts damage
Hmm.
and damage and damage, and he breaks you down. Uh,
Right.
he's not really like that one punch power. I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, so y'all they need to try to make something happen early in that fight. But if he gets to round 5 and round 6 and now you're into Benavidez like really pouring on all those multitude of combinations on you.
I agree
So,
with you completely on the strategy too. Like you said, Yarde jump on him early. I agree. I think Benavidez starts really slow, but he warms up through that fight. The problem is like, yeah, you can bank those first few rounds, but then what do you do? Because I
Right.
don't think they can get him, right? I don't think he can spark him. He might be able to sting him a little bit, but I don't think he's really going to hurt him or drop him. So what does he do? I mean, Yarde is not really a traditional boxer type. So you have 3 or 4 rounds, maybe the first few, all to you. Do you run after that? Is Yarde even capable of fighting on the road? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that is a question we gotta ask. But I like I said, I know he's durable and he can take a lot. But it's just, I like for his strategy to be more exact when he goes in the ring with people that can outbox him or people that are quicker than him. So it's kind of like a good scrap for Benevidez to just stay busy to me. Like,
For sure.
just to keep active, just staying in that mode of being active for like the bigger fight. So that's my thoughts on the Yarde situation. I mean, and it's gonna be in Saudi Arabia, so it's on neutral territory for both of them.
Mm.
So it shouldn't be any. Basically, I'm saying it shouldn't be any shenanigans with the judging or anything like that. Nobody has the home advantage per se.
Shouldn't, but this is boxing. Rob, Yarde,
Yarde,
Benevidez. I know you're high on Benevidez. Can Yarde do anything to this man? Go ahead.
Yarde is a very tough fighter.
Okay.
Very tough. And you got to go back to the Better Be It fight. He stuck it out in there as long as he could. Um, and he made it. He made some tough rounds in there for Better Be It. So he made it a tougher fight than people thought it would be in that one. And he's known for doing that. He's known for kind of making it look tougher than it should be against opponents who people predict are going to blow him out the water. The problem with that is that that's a test that David needs, right? That's something that David needs um, to make a bigger statement in this fight. He kind of needs to be a little bit tested in that. Another issue though is and you guys always already touched on it is David is so much of a better boxer, especially at this weight and at this division, than people give him credit for. There's no wasted punches in the ring with David. Yes, he gets you out with accumulations, but those accumulation punches are heavy. They're hard. He throws punches with intention. Um, and he doesn't waste a punch. Period. That all spells trouble for Yarde. To your point, yes, Yarde should see what he can do with him early and try to jump on him early, especially because David likes to ease his way in there and systematically break his opponent down. The problem with that though is David's nickname. He is a monster. Okay, he is a monster. I feel like when the pressure is put on him, he's just gonna rise even more further above the competition. Period.
I've seen pressure really put on Benavidez. That's the question in itself.
I
Have you
thought
seen him really, really pressured? Like,
Well, how you gonna pressure somebody? This man is so damn much
he's
bigger than
huge.
other
Exactly.
people. Yeah. So that's what the issue is with when you try to pressure him. But I bet you anything that if somebody's like the same exact size, that they can put pressure on him. I mean, I think Morrell did that a little bit in his fight. And we
I was gonna
saw
say
Benavidez adapting well to fighting on the back foot. So he does have that ability to do it if he needs to.
I mean, Rob, what would your take be? Like Sakura was saying, to jump on him early, but to just fight and plan for just 9 minutes, those first 3 rounds, right? Because let's face it, that's probably his chances, right? So just you prepare for 9 minutes of all-out attack. That's all you got, because that's basically what your chances are. What do you think the probability of him coming out victorious?
then you're in for an early night. You get your ass knocked out. That's what's
Or
going
you
to happen.
get knocked out. Yeah, I mean, you in there to win, or you in there to lose. But them first 3 rounds is
Well,
basically where it's going to come in at.
he'll get knocked out. That's what will happen. He'll get knocked out earlier than he should.
Yeah, you
Um,
think so?
but you don't
Yarde
want
is tough,
David
but
to
I
get
don't know
momentum. You really don't. You don't want David to
exactly.
get momentum. But the major issue is it, how much in shape is Yarde? How much is he willing to give out there? Because if you can apply pressure and you can do it for the full fight, every round, then you got a shot. But you're gonna have to do it in every single round. You're gonna have to test the man. You're gonna have to take him into deep waters, and he still will probably lose the fight.
You
Well, all I
probably right.
know is Yarde's kind of strong, so I mean, he ain't gonna be pushed around like some guys that he might have fought in the past. These guys in this division are starting to be more his size, so maybe that's also gonna factor in a little bit.
I, I would love to see Yarde just sell out to the body. Not a single head punch thrown, just everything, just mean hooks, straights, everything, just to the body. Just commit everything you got to the body. Slow him down so that way, when he does start to come on, you can dance around a little bit and pick and choose when you want to get in range and get back out of range. Uh, but yeah, I mean this is going to be a hard night for Anthony Yarde, no matter how you look at it. I'm not
Mm,
saying it's not it's doable, but it is not going to be easy, no matter how you cut that.
mm.
Uh,
Well, that's true.
Yarde is relatively. I mean, when you compare him to David Benevidez, he's going to seem like relatively short, but actually not really. Only a couple inches difference supposedly. So I mean, Yarde is
Yeah,
not too
he
small.
should be able to hit that body pretty easily then, and take advantage of what you're saying, like the mid body range.
Hmm.
He should be able to get to the body. But like he's always in great shape, so he already know like if I get to this body, I'm gonna be taking a few punches too.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a big body. It's a big target, but I think
Yeah,
that's
but
the
that's a
best
good
chances of winning.
point. We don't see fighters strategizing that way anymore. We really don't. And that's a great valid point. There is, back in the days, we used to see some guys fighting brutally to the body to where they spitting up blood afterwards. David Benavidez should be splitting up blood, win or lose. If Yarde was to attack the body with real intention. But unfortunately, we just don't see guys doing that anymore.
No, and to be honest with you, I'm not even sure who Yarde's trainer is right now.
Yeah, I can't believe every boxer should be watching old footage of like the body snatcher McCallum,
Mm.
so you really see. But he told me like he started doing that because I forgot what box it was, but he said he hit me to the body and I felt it in a different way. And I was like, hey, he got something there. I'm gonna be doing this on other people, and that's what ended up being his signature move. He said, because I actually felt it. I felt that first. So I mean,
Oh,
I
really?
think more boxers should actually feel it. Then they'll want to do it too, right?
I mean, them punches to the head, yeah, they make you feel woozy for a while, but after a while, that feeling kind of goes away. The body shots linger, and they linger the whole damn fight. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. So when they say that, you put money in the bank, hell yeah, because that bank ain't running dry. That's staying right where it is, right in the bank. Uh,
Right.
Now, Rob, would you agree that the main event should actually be the co-main? We talking Haney
No,
Norman? No. Okay,
no,
speak why. Let's go into Haney versus Norman, but speak why.
because Benavidez and Yarde to me is the same type of matchup, but honestly, we don't really know which Brian Norman Jr. is going to show up.
That's fair.
We don't we don't even the Brian Norman Jr. that we've seen as of late. it we still don't really know how good he is. We really don't. So this really is his coming out party with Devin Haney. Should be motivated Devin Haney at that. And I think this one could get away from Brian Norman. I really do. And I also think, and forgive me, and I hate to say it, but I think it could be boring.
Could be
I
boring.
just, I think it could be boring. And the reason why, here's the reason why I say that. It's not a knock on either of these guys, but Haney, if you let him take some breather and some breaks in there, he's gonna take a breather. We
I
all
was gonna
know that.
say it was a shot at Haney
Yeah,
more
I
than
was
Norman.
thinking that she was saying basically like
We,
Haney is born. That's what.
we all know that.
Kind
And
of,
and if
kind of.
Brian is too focused on not losing the fight as opposed to going in there, taking it to him and winning the fight, then there's gonna be laps of action. There's gonna be loads of action in there. And Haney walks away with that type of fight because he's done it multiple times.
You're not wrong, and Norman doesn't seem like the guy that's going to just try to survive. But at the same time, I mean, he hasn't been in a guy like with Haney. So, to both of you, I ask: is a jump for Norman to come off his last opponent, which was
That was a big blowout.
Jin
Like he,
Sasaki? Yeah, I mean, to
yeah,
go
over
from
in
that
Japan.
to Devin Haney, do you think that's too much too soon? To me, he needs like a gatekeeper. He needs a journeyman to step on first to try to see where we're at. Instead, it's just a big jump in experience. I mean, not even big. It's let's face it, this is the moon landing. This is Apollo mission type
Wait
shit.
a minute though. You said Nakatani, right?
Sasaki. There's some shit.
What
Sasaki.
Sasaki? Yeah, that's something I'm not sure on him. I'm not familiar. But I'm just gonna say it like this: like
That was in
when
a
you're a hungry, you got a
Jamaican.
hungry fighter against somebody that's already tasted that, you know, sweet nectar of success. So I think that you have to factor that in when you're dealing with a step up type fight. If we're gonna say it's a step up type fight.
I mean,
Now, as far as boxing skills are concerned, Devin Haney would seem to be the one with the better boxing skills. But how would I know that for sure? Because we haven't been able to see a lot of Norman to be able to access whether or not he really does have those skills or not. Because the man could be sitting on a lot of skills, especially with a father that's been in boxing, and knows ins and outs. So, I mean, he probably got a good pedigree, but just, never got the clout that a lot of some of these other boxers have. And I'm telling you, like that, you got to factor in that hunger factor because it seemed to me in the lead ups and the different things that we've been seeing, the face off situations, we see that Norman is saying, you know, so when I beat you, I can stop hearing how I'm not this or I'm not that. So for him, it's like if I can beat Haney, then I'm gonna get this recognition that I believe in my heart I deserve and should have been able to have in previous years. So
right.
if that's the case, you gotta, Haney is going up against that type of mentality. And the man got a good, Norman's got a good like what do you want to say? Propelling because he's got that KO that was like magnificent, from Japan. That was his, lead in fight to this one. So naturally, because Ryan Garcia was Haney's, knockout situation or stoppage situation, he gonna feel like that's his best way to like, really put a stamp on his arrival um into the upper echelons of boxing as a prize fighter is he's got to come up with this win in his eyes. So I think that that's the factor that people are missing. And I also think the other factor is the fact that we just don't know how good he really is. I know he know how to set up a good KO though. I mean, we all saw that. And a good person that you might want to actually see that's why I feel like this co-main event should be the main events, because this is a fight a lot of boxing fans want to see.
Mm.
Because you got a lot of haters out there for Haney. They want to see him get knocked out again. But then you also got people that are just like, why is Haney talking all this crap about Norman when he's coming up the rough way? Like, I
Yeah,
never
that is
like it when
weird.
a, yeah, it's like, why are you doing all this hate speech against this man that's just trying to prove that he's a, he's a solid boxer. And, and it's just like, it's a lot of hate coming from Haney towards Norman to me. Um, and he got a southern drawl. He's from Georgia. And, so people think that, I know in my case, they hit an accent. A lot of times they just thought like that means you're dumb, or that you're, like they're somehow superior in intelligence just because you got an accent. So this may be something that Haney might fall into if he's not careful, and believing this man don't have no skills and can't figure out a way to, um, stop his workflow with his jab and his, foot movement and stuff. So I think it's a risky fight for Haney, more
Yeah, I
so
mean,
than it is for Norman.
yeah, I would agree. But this kind of led into perfectly on why I also think that this should be the main event. I mean, you got unknowns. You know what I mean? We have two O's. We already know Yarde is good and he's durable and he's game. But are we
Mhm.
anybody really thinking like he's gonna win? Well, we go back to that fight real quick. Obviously, this is tough talk. We always do the odds, the Vegas odds. David Benevidez favorite, very clear favorite, I might add. Those are very wide odds. I mean, one of the wider we've seen in this 2025, 2024 year of fights for a main event. Those are very wide odds. Now, Haney Norman odds. Some of you guys might be a little surprised with this. Very much closer. Take a second to pull that up. I'm sorry. I mean, it's practically an even fight. So
That means that people think that
Vegas,
Norman does have the goods to deal
Vegas,
with a Haney.
Vegas knows. So Haney odds vary, with some sport books listings him as a favorite of negative 112 to 115, and Brian Norman odds are slightly more mixed. Some showing him as a favorite.
Mm.
Woo!
Wow.
So
I mean, I
again,
know Haney don't like that.
Sakura, you're right. This should be the main event. This leads, this proof in the pudding. This one should be the main event. They want to make Benavidez into this monster. The monster can't be a co-main. He can't be, waiting in the wings. So I get that. They have to make him a main event. They have to have the little guys be that way. But I think this one in
Look,
itself could have been a co-main or a main event in its own card.
did you
Go
see
ahead.
Devin Haney's last fight?
I did, and I think and that's another thing that we were going to bring up. I think Haney himself, especially since the Ryan Garcia thing, it's not all there anymore. It's not what it once was before that fight. It's like Garcia ruined him. It's either the confidence of him getting the shit rocked out of him or something, but Haney just isn't the same. I think it's more winnable now for Norman because of the Ryan Garcia fight.
You think like it's something? What are y'all saying? That is something mental
Confidence more
going
than
on
anything.
there?
I'll
Yeah, I
tell
mean
you what it is.
he's
Oh,
always
okay.
talking
I
about
see.
suing somebody. I mean, he just he ain't there. That confidence is lost.
But yeah,
Okay. The
it
confidence.
and to be honest, I see it
He's
in the corner too. I see it
yeah,
in the corner. It's in the corner. It's everywhere around him.
it's timid mentality,
Right
right?
here.
It ain't like let's go after this. Like let's be careful. Let's get the win. It's not. It's not. Let's a dog. Let's go eat. It's let's eat this out. Let's get out of here. Which
Well,
is
Right.
maybe
weird.
because when you first
You
said it,
go in
I
there with a
thought you
fighter
were
like that.
saying, like when you first said it, I thought you were getting to like, did it do something physically to
I think
Haney?
I
Like,
think both. I think it's
like
mentally
is
and
he
physically.
not sturdy on his legs anymore, or is he does he feel like he's easier to be knocked out now? Like, well, I was thinking that, but also you guys are right about the confidence for sure. We saw that it was a little lackluster there.
Mhm. I think the confidence kind of built, and it started turning back down. But also with the getting caught, you know what I mean? With the same punch, it's the boxing confidence on top of it, and the physicality of everything. Taking
Right.
those shots when you know that you're a disciplined fighter that wouldn't normally keep getting hit with that shot, it does something to you. And then you're like, man, if I keep getting hit with that same shot again, am I going to go down again? It's that self doubt that now is embedded deep into his heart, and there ain't nothing anybody can
Mm,
do about it.
Well, I have a different take on it.
mm.
Maybe some people will like it, maybe they not. I apologize in advance for my language, but it the knockout did expose something. Devin Haney's a pussy. Okay, that's what it exposed. When you
Oh
look
Lord.
at it, when you look at it in the corner, with his dad is fighting his battles more than he is now. His father's always talking about punching somebody in the mouth and doing something to somebody. Devin is talking about I'ma sue you, I'ma sue you. So yeah, it exposed. That's what happened. It exposed that factor in him, meaning the kid didn't think he was ever gonna lose. He was on this too big of a high horse, thinking that he was the greatest of all time or something. Got exposed, and now that he's exposed, he period. It's out there. It's out there. He's no longer the greatest, this great boxer or anything. He's not. He's exposed, fully exposed, and his poor father can't get it back, can't get him back. His dad keeps trying and trying. He's
You
not
know what
getting the
else is
kid
a
back.
factor? Another factor is like this is like technically this is his first fight, Haney's first fight at welterweight, 147. That's also a factor that isn't being considered. But I think that helps him because he's starting to be more in his true weight, you know. And I know that, you know, I say technically this is first fight at 147. So y'all just go on and figure out like the night of the fight, we're gonna be seeing different weigh-ins. Like, are we gonna be at 160 something again? Like, which title is on the line? Which title does Norman have?
I want to say WBO,
It's either that
WB,
one or it's the
Oh,
WBO.
WBC.
okay, because that means he doesn't. There's no rehydration clause.
Nope.
You remember IBF? If it's
Oh
IBF
yeah.
title by itself, then you got the 15 pounds. You got to stay within 15 pounds. But as soon as it's multiple belts, then that stipulation goes away. And then it's just based on people's contracts. So if it's WBO, I don't think they have that 15 pound. Like you got to stay within 15 pounds of the actual weight division. So yeah, like that's also gonna be a factor that we gotta like put that in that prediction bowl and see how that helps or hurts one of the opponents. But I mean, I think it's a good thing that he's actually moving up and filling in at the 147. I think that actually helps him be a lot more stronger um, than when he has to make weight at lower weight classes or even catch weights. Because I think him and Ryan was like 142. I think like I don't think theirs was like 140, but like 142, I believe. But you know, I think welterweight is where Haney probably he should be there, or he should be at super welterweight, or even middleweight. But then you start getting in there with some real beasts. Like that power is different once you get to that 160 zone. You know what I'm saying? Like
We
now you dealing with some real power there, some real pop. So 147 is a good division for Haney. I'm thinking that that's going to help him be a little bit more confident in there with Norman.
Maybe, maybe not. Like you said, he's been a weight bully. You know what I mean? He's been
Yeah.
able to be much bigger, and now that you're fighting somebody that's already that much bigger, it might seem a little harder this time.
Mm,
Especially against some competition that you really don't have a lot of backing on. You don't have a lot of tape to watch. You can't really figure this guy out like you can some big A-listers. So I think that's also why that these odds are so close. I'm very
okay.
intrigued. Now I can't pick Norman. I can't. I just can't. But I would say Haney off a robbery decision. Like if I if I had to guess. But
Oh, you might as well have said Norman then. You just as
pretty
well
much.
said Norman really will win. Norman
That's
is
why
really
you
going to
can't.
win the fight.
That's why you can't pick against him. I mean, the money's in Haney's corner, but I agree full heartedly what you said. I think he's going to work his way up, and he's just been able to outmaneuver a lot of his previous fights, and
Opposition. Yeah.
that's not going to happen. He's going to hit a wall. It's just a matter of
Mhm.
is this the fight that he hits that wall?
Right.
Facts. That's a fact. I don't. I'm not gonna pick Norman Jr. I don't know what he's made of yet. I would love to see what he's made of on Saturday. I would love to see him knock out Devin Haney. That would be a blessing to me. But I'm just not at this point in time. I'm not gonna pick against Haney. I think that Haney will win again. To me, it's the factor with these up and coming fighters is that these guys have got to be willing in these big fights to win it. They have to be willing to win it and not fight just to not lose.
Yeah. I am. I was prepared to say I'm going with the underdog. You know how I love underdogs, guys. But Norman isn't an underdog based on these betting odds.
No,
So
actually, I checked another website while we were discussing. He's a favorite, and actually, both are favorite odds. It's not an underdog odd, which I don't know if I've seen, at least not in a long time. Very weird, but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no. I needed that information just to, make sure that Norman isn't considered an underdog. And I am gonna go with Norman Jr. because I'm gonna factor in that he has real power and he's not a slouch as far as boxing skills is concerned. And I just feel like he's gonna figure out a way. He probably seen and smelled a little fear in Haney's last fight, just like you guys did. So I think he's going to be really aggressive in there and, really take Haney to some place he's not been before, especially at welterweight, feeling that type of additional weight from your opponent, being in your, what is it? Just being in your actual pocket area in a fight and feeling what you've made your opponents feel for so long. Like I think it's gonna and also I think I don't know if Haney is that great when you put him on his back feet.
Mm.
And I think he's also gonna be learning from that Ryan Garcia tape. You know,
When
you
his
just need a
back
good
is
left hook.
when his back's to the wall, I doubt Haney's going to answer the call.
Yeah, so I do feel like I feel like Norman is also very strong. Like he's very athletic, as far as his body type. So I got to give the edge to Norman. I'm going to go with Norman Jr. And
All
I don't
right.
give a damn what none of y'all say. And you can tell me, like, oh, you don't know boxing and all this stuff. I have factored in that Haney is an excellent, sweet science type dude. He's great when it comes to the sweet science and using that jab to his advantage. I'm just saying sometimes that jab ain't strong enough to hold off some new hungry blood that really want to lay your ass out. That's what I think. So I'm going with Norman Jr. You heard it here first. Plus, he's from the South, so let's go.
I like it. I probably will be tuning in this weekend as long as I'm allowed to. All the kids and
Okay.
busyness that we got. But we are about wrapping up for the show for tonight. I just wanted to switch to something that we talked about in our thing. I'm not watching lately. I'm not really haven't watched a full card since Canelo Crawford. I mean, it is something that I don't know. I feel like boxing is just missing. It's missing on a lot of different levels. What would you guys say to somebody who's just we're we're struggling. We're struggling to find reasons to even tune in anymore. You got Top Rank that's gonna be on damn Tubi and Vizio. I mean, these are guys that they promoted Pacquiao and Muhammad Ali, and now we're gonna have to catch them on Tubi. What's going on?
I mean, long term, that might be a great thing, but I just think the problem that they're having right now is that the message isn't getting out that it's on free TV. That you can watch it on Tubi. Like that's a free app. And it just has a couple of ads that you watch, from time to time. And then you got Roku and Vizio as well. These are apps that are highly accessible. But the problem right now is like, the word isn't out as good as it needs to be, that this is where you can find Top Rank now, Top Rank Boxing, and their staple, because they got some excellent talent over there that people want to see. But the word just got to get out that it's like so accessible now, more so than needing to pay the 9.99 for the ESPN Plus app.
It's not even the word for me. How do I say this without being mean to Tubi and some of these apps? I mean, look, when you had a fight, an HBO Saturday night, even a Showtime Saturday night, you were hyped. You go to turn on Showtime, you flip it through the channels like, ooh. But now I got to go find Tubi. Look,
But
I
Lucas,
can
you're
tell.
not factoring
I can
in.
tell that this is not going to be a high quality broadcast. You know what I'm
But
saying?
a lot of people don't even have your cable networks anymore. They're not paying for that bill. The only thing they have is the internet. And then they running on they smart TVs or they Fire Sticks
I
or they
understand,
Rokus.
and
So it's
I could get
yeah.
behind it if it was like Fox or any over the air local networks, broadcast TV. But I already know that this is going to be so crappily put together. We got billion dollar companies like DAZN that can't even hold that shit together and actually perform at a good level as far as broadcasting. I'm supposed to believe fucking Vizio app is going to do it good. Like, come on.
Well, I mean,
let
that's
me
a
interject.
production
Let me
team.
interject.
Everybody has a different
Exactly.
production team.
And it
That's
may
the
be
production team's issue. It's not at the zone. Like the app is running fine. It's the productions that you're like, considering. But when you have smaller budgets, you gotta cut, that extra jig or that extra cameraman. And that's what you're talking about. You're talking about
right.
the actual size of the production team
Yeah.
has
It's
gone down from the HBO and the Showtime era.
But let
it
me
just feels
interject a little
big
bit,
time in
Lucas, on that.
every single way, every single fight, even the biggest
Let,
fight, which I just talked about, Canelo Crawford. Go ahead, bro.
let me interject a little bit. One, I agree with you with the DAZN bit in the early days, but Lucas, you haven't been watching DAZN lately to be able to judge what the production is like
Streams
right now.
before
Um,
Canelo Crawford did it.
but in my opinion, what it is, the problem is, and this isn't introducing another topic here. This is just honesty.
Hmm.
We last weekend we had a hell of a show, a hell of a show. Yes, on DAZN in the UK, and Connor Ben and Chris Eubanks Jr. And what it is you had the storylines that you're used to seeing in boxing. You had the drama there that you're used to seeing in boxing. You also had a classic first fight. So everybody's coming out wanting to see these two guys fight. And regardless of the outcome of what happened in this second bout, you saw a show. You saw everything. 50 Cent was out there coming out with Chris Eubank Jr. Connor Ben had a whole drum section show playing. Sold out crowd in a huge arena in the UK. Michael Buffer was excited. He got the crowd going. You had two guys that actually poured their hearts into this fight. Period. And they did. And regardless of, like I said, of the outcome and what happened in this fight, these two men, they gave everything they had into this fight. They gave everything they had into the first bout, and that came out in the ring. Unfortunately, something came up short for Eubanks in this fight. But that happens. But they did, they poured their all into the sport, into this bout. And that's what we need to get back to, because you can be mad about the networks not being there. They're not there right now. You can be mad about the production not being there. It's not there right now. Budgets, issues with that, blah, blah, blah. When you have two guys that don't give a damn about the money and that want it for the legacy, they want the victory, they put their all into the fight, going into it. When you have that, that's what we're used to seeing in boxing. That's what we're missing. We're missing that.
It's just too few and far between. Like I admit that I was going to watch this fight that you were just talking about, but I couldn't. I was doing other stuff. It's middle of the day because it's the UK. I need my Vegas nights back. That's what I need. And even, are we going to get this even with the Yarde fight? Is this one going to be?
No, it's starting at 1:00.
I ain't watching no fucking Saturday fight midday. Sorry, like
No,
it already loses a
bit. It's at 3 p.m.
Yeah,
oh, 3. Well, still, he's talking about, is it the afternoon? It's afternoon.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, man.
I mean, that's the new reality that we also are living in, is that these major fights are like overseas now, and we're the ones that are being inconvenienced if we really want to see it. Now Emilio, he loves it being in the afternoon, because at night he's finding it hard to like he's on that schedule. So he be sleep, and then he got to try to wake up when it's time for the people he want to see to fight. And then it's, how I told you, sometimes it don't work out. And then I got to cut the TV off, or whatever we're watching, I got to turn it off, because he doesn't want to know the outcome till he actually watches it. So, then I'm pissed. So afternoon works better for him, even when you see the afternoon, the main event is still not coming on until 5:36 in the evening.
That's
so
true.
It's not as bad.
Maybe the fights in New York are better because they're usually main eventing 9-10 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
So, that doesn't drag on all day. Obviously, with Vegas, sometimes it'd be 11
Super
o'clock.
late.
Yeah, main event starting 11, midnight. Sometimes you're like, damn, I'm trying to go to bed. So I understand that. But I don't necessarily want it at 1 a.m., but I'm talking 9-10 o'clock. That should be main ring walk time. That's what it should be. I get.
Bill, it's hard for me to, I usually like to watch the entire card. I want to see the up and coming talent on the prelims. I want to see, who's the undercard people. But in the middle of the day, it's hard for me to get into that section. I mean,
so much stuff to do.
Not only that, though, these undercards, like somebody just, Lucas, you just had put up there, somebody made a great point. These undercards are below lackluster. They're below lackluster. These guys we're seeing on the undercard, you're not seeing ever again. You're not. You're just not seeing them ever again. Now, this card coming up on Saturday is one to watch, okay? Because not only the two fights that we mentioned, main event quality, like Lucas has said, you also get Bam Rodriguez thrown in there. And Bam Rodriguez is an extremely exciting fighter.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a nice one.
So you get that in there, and then even the opening bout, from what I'm hearing, is supposed to be a competitive bout in guys that we will be seeing again.
So
You
why
know,
are you complaining about it being a pay-per-view then?
because it's DAZ.
Rob.
I did not say that on this telecast, but I didn't say it on this podcast tonight. But
You're
the
saying it's a great card, so that would explain why you need to pay the pay-per-view.
and it is. And the Conor Ben Eubanks Jr. fight was a hell of a fight to me. I would pay for that. I would just for that main event alone. To me, it got me. Lucas, you got to go back and watch these fights, man, because they're gonna get you a little bit hyped. Maybe not all the way, but they're gonna get you a
Ew.
little
When
bit hyped.
Conor Ben and his dad came out to Phil Jackson, Phil, like when he say
Collins, yeah.
Collins, yes, when Phil Collins came on, I can feel it. And then he had the drum line.
Man,
The
I
drum
had
line was
goosebumps in there.
badass.
I had goosebumps in there. And then Eubanks Jr. coming out, and next thing you know, 50 Cent is right next to him.
50 singing, yeah, 50 were rapping, and the songs were relevant. The songs that he was that was chosen, they was relevant to the fight game. The one that's come, the
It,
fight that was about to
it sure
happen.
was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Chris didn't show none of that in the ring, but he tried, damn it.
I
Yeah,
do
I
love
think
me some
that
50.
had a lot to do with some weight stuff going on and some injury stuff. But
But
either way it go, it was like an amazing fight card. Like they in UK, they know how to put it together. Like they know how to put them, them graphics together and show the boxers like when they intro them, and like it's just that they like it's super well produced. How about that? Just for Lucas, produced well. Like,
well,
Right, it
yeah.
yeah. But other than this fight card this weekend, and I don't
But
consider this
Lucas,
one. I don't consider this one great. I consider this what would be, at least back in the day, a
a
normal,
normal. Yeah.
normal fight
yeah,
card. This
a
is an
good fight
every
card.
weekend type of card, and now it's once a month that we get even a card like this. Sometimes it's once every couple of months. For example, when do we have a next decent card? I mean, we're talking December 6th, if not later.
Well, we got the Lamont Roach
That's
versus
December
Isak
6th. Yeah.
Cruz card coming up, and they got some nice competition on that. They ended up putting the Fulton versus Foster fight on there that I'm really interested in. That alone is gonna have me watching. But
Yeah, they got that Yanabek versus Lara,
yeah,
Foster Fulton,
yeah.
even Jesus Ramos Jr. versus Shane Mosley Jr.
Yep, that they are
Uh,
all good matchups.
that one is actually another decent card. That one's pay per view though, so
San Antonio
I
Prime.
man, it's just they keep wanting your money, and what we were just talking about DAZN too, and all the money that they're trying to charge. Look, I know I'm saying one thing and wanting another, right? I want production quality, but I'm not talking about. Look, how much is DAZN again?
I don't know what they up to
29.99.
now.
Now that
Last
the pay
time
per
they
view's
charged me was
included,
like
it's like,
$44. It was
whew,
like $44 with the
They
taxes in
got
there.
they got different price points, but guys, this is a new world for all of us, though.
But
And
we
the
also have to
TV,
realize that, prices are going up on everything.
you guys
Yesterday
can.
prices is not today's prices. So they cannot put together a nice card and have all these free thrills that we want for and not ask us for no
and not ask,
compensation.
right,
Listen.
right.
I get it,
And
and I'm
I
not
agree.
saying I'm not willing to pay. What I'm saying is like you just keep reaching in a little too
Some
far
of
into
it's
people's
supposed to
pockets.
be
It's
like
it's a
good
little
fights.
it's a little too
Well, then
much,
Lucas,
and it's
go
too
get you the
far in
ultimate
between.
package. Go get you the ultimate
I'm not
package, and
paying
you
them.
can get 12 free pay-per-views per year.
Listen,
Oh,
I
you
think
talking about the
DAZ.
DAZN package?
Yes.
I think the zone put together an incorrect thing from the jump. I think it was misleading.
They're still trying to
Listen,
figure it out. They're
they're
still trying to
starting
figure
with the pay-per-views included. Now they want 450 or something. What it was a year, $450 damn dollars. Now you were talking about $9.99. You were ending pay-per-view. Listen, ain't nobody got a problem paying
You
HBO.
should have
Listen,
known.
let me
Yeah, you
finish.
should have
Let me
known
finish.
that wasn't
Let me
sustainable.
finish. Nobody has a problem paying HBO subscriptions, paying Showtime subscriptions, paying Prime video subscriptions. Those are doable. What I will not do is for you to offer me a subscription, then tell me there ain't no pay per view, only to add pay per view on, and now I can't watch those fights even though I subscribe to you. That's what they call bait and switch. And look, you can say, and I agree to somewhat that we need to pay to have that production quality, but it also we're paying this and we ain't getting anything back out of it. You're giving us one or two cards, and even then, those are the cards that you're going to put on pay-per-view. Those are not the cards that we are getting on the subscription. The shit that you're getting on the subscription, you don't even want to fucking watch. It's garbage, like we talked about. These undercards,
Well,
hot
wait a minute
garbage.
now. Some
And
of it's not
MMA,
garbage, Lucas. They just got up and
but
coming talent that would usually be like when we had the ESPN Friday night fights. Like you're getting to see boxers come up the ranks and understand what they done, the steps that they went through and how they've improved their talent. So some of these are not like crap cards, but it's just they don't have like the superstars on them sometimes,
well,
like that you
I
want.
appreciate those. I'm not talking about necessarily that, but I'm talking about like journeyman versus journeyman, boring fights. I'm not talking about these up and comers. I like to see those type of fights. But what I mean is, I think boxing's biggest problem, and I didn't think it at the point where we were talking about rolling back the Ali Act. I think that has to happen. I didn't want to tell you that at first, but I think boxing is milking itself. Too much money comes out, so they're trying to get
Yeah,
more.
but
They're
putting
trying to get more
but
out of
putting a
us.
boxer in a worse position and to be paid less is not going to help
They
the
are, but
boxing
I think
political system.
I
Like
don't.
that, like I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying to even give boxers less, if
There's
that Ali Act was adopted for all types of boxing combat sports, because right now I'm hearing, oh, it's just for their particular brand of combat sport. But before, when they were talking about it being broad ranging and specifically to all combat sports, you changed that, and now the boxers got even less leverage. I don't see how that helps, the situation be more balanced.
maybe not. I mean, it may be balanced more towards like those little guys, the ones that are on the undercards versus the guys who are the headliners. The headliners are getting all the money. Nobody else gets jack shit. And meanwhile, they keep trying to dig into our pockets to get more of that money. This sport is being bled dry, and is being bled dry by fighters. There is no meat left on the bone. That's why HBO folded. That's why Showtime's folded. That's why these things are going under. There is no more
Hold
money to
on a
be
second.
made when we're shelling out all this money.
Hold on a sec, okay? Because I just read that fucking comment that you just stuck in there, Lucas. So now I gotta judge you and him.
Okay.
What
You
comment?
brother are a dumbass if you pay for pay-per-view. No, y'all are the fucking problem. Because if you don't pay for a product, you get no product. That's simple life. This simple life. So if y'all want boxing to fucking shell up and die, don't pay for it. And matter of fact, don't watch
Long
it.
term,
And
that's
don't come.
the long term.
It,
That would be the result. I agree with you.
it,
Long
it
term,
don't.
that
It
would be the
don't.
result.
Listen,
And
give
don't
me something
come on
that
the
I want
damn
to pay for.
podcast either.
We are
No,
getting off the
Lucas, you're like
subject, though. We are off the
no,
subject, guys.
no,
Calm
no,
down. Calm
no. You're
down.
not off the subject, and
The
I'm not gonna
subject
calm
is
down.
Lucas. Are you boycotting boxing right now
I
by
have been.
missing key fights? I want to know, like, are you thinking and actually, you know, participating by not participating as a way to boycott? Or
Well,
are you just missing fights here and there because your schedule is busy and you don't feel like it's enough value in your time in the fight for your time? Like
Can I
which is
answer
it?
for him? Can I
Yeah,
answer for him?
sure.
He wants to get the shit for free, like everybody else does.
No. Short answer, both. Short answer is both. I would have watched this fight, the Conor Benn fight. I would have watched that this weekend. Schedule didn't line up, so that fell through. But other than that, I also am not going to pay $45 a month. I'm not paying that shit, not for DAZN. I got beef with them off top, so I'm boycotting DAZN especially. But boxing as a whole, you just got to give me something that I want to pay for. Give me something that makes me want to subscribe to you. They are doing the exact opposite. I mean, it is shooing me away from the sport. I don't got a reason to tune in anymore, if I'm being dead honest. I mean, we're looking at this main event, right? Most people, I think all of us, without even really a second thought, Benevidez Yarde. We're all picking Benevidez. That's a main event. That's a main event. It should not be plus 900 in the matchup when it's a fucking main event. Make it close. Make somebody in there that's worth the damn. I understand that we're going to have step-up fights, but that seems like it's all we get.
Well, you don't want to know the outcome of a fight before it starts.
Exactly. Why tune in? Why watch it? Now, Haney Norman, we don't fully know, right? But Yarde, Benevidez, no offense to Yarde, I think everybody who's a pundit is already like, Benevidez, move on, right? They just shove that shit to the side. Why is that a main event? Tell me why everybody gonna be waiting after they already watched a fight that is better on paper.
Because Turkey Al-Sheikh likes Benevidez, damn it.
There really is only two people that right now in the world that you can predict will beat Benavidez. There's only two.
Well, who's them two?
To beat him?
Bivol and possibly Beterbiev. Possibly Beterbiev.
I think Benevidez is getting up there in age now. I don't see him outboxing or putting enough output out to go with a Benevidez and his combination punching. But Bivol could outbox him easily, I believe. So that's a fight we probably are not going to see for right now.
I agree with you, Rob.
That's the only one.
I agree with you, Rob. But again, this is not just this card thing. This is a fucking every card thing for the most part, right? Other than the last fight that I watched. That one was obviously going to be, something that we're going to see for a long time. But
you know what? Also, I meant to say that Jake Paul versus AJ fight. Now that's a great undercard with Alicia Baumgardner, and that's a unified title fight. And then you got Russell, you got Antoine Russell. His fight is on there, and that is also a title defense. So I mean, there's some good boxing on this card too. But like you say, see how you might not be as interested in the main event, but you're interested in some of the undercard, So this is what's different about the sport right now is they want to push certain people as the stars and the entertainment portions of these cards. And then your real boxing, your purist boxing fan, we're like in the undercard matchups a little bit more, Lamont Roach versus Usyk Cruz. Who got Usyk Cruz in that? Lamont's boxing skills should be able to handle that. But then on the undercard, you saw how we had, all these different names that got matchups that we don't know the outcomes of. So, that's like a new trend, I'm saying.
And maybe one, but I mean, just looking through the boxing schedule, there's a lot of ones that are exactly opposites. You know what I mean? It seems to be that nights like coming up on the December 6th are severely rare. It is. It shouldn't be, because this used to be an almost, twice a month thing that now we get cards that are, Badu Jack versus some name you may never heard versus another name that you ain't never heard.
It's a lot of
it's just those little journeymen versus another journeyman, and even if who wins, why would I care? Neither one of them are going to be doing anything anytime soon. it's a lot of that, and it's something that there are. We talked earlier about the WBO, and at least they're forcing their things. Well, they have no really authority to force it. They can be like, "Hey, you don't get to keep our belt," but we don't. They don't care. Fighters drop them shits like hotcakes. Usyk did too. There is no way to force a fighter to fight another fighter. Only if it's worth a big amount of money does it force them to do that. Otherwise, they're like, "Fuck it, no, I'll just fight some other idiots around the weight division. I'll avoid him at all costs." That's all
Right.
it is.
I mean, and then you got people out there like Netflix, like they're not even gonna like they want you to bring a person, like it's gotta be a opponent that has just as many followers or more followers than your Jake Paul. Like
Oh, yeah.
you got that type of money out there, but they're not gonna pay the money unless you got two big, social media followings fighting each other, which isn't quite the same as what we purists like, which is who's going to match up the best and give us a fight where we don't know the outcome. So the formula's got to be tweaked a little bit. It's because there's money out there that people are spending on these fights cards, but they want to do it in a non-traditional way. I do understand that, but you got to make it make sense too. It's got to be some kind of balance. So that's the only thing that is concerning, because Netflix they were gonna put up money for Jake Paul versus Javante Tank Davis. Think about that.
That's
But
crazy.
then,
That's
right,
crazy.
but and major money too. So because they're looking at the numbers, they're just looking at numbers. It's business people. They don't care about the sport like that. Like they just looking at these numbers, this social media following, this should bring in this amount of viewers to the website, to the app right now. That's what they interested in. But it has to be some kind of balance because hopefully they'll see that an Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is way more interesting to viewers and it's going to bring in way more people, eyeballs watching than it is when it's just like a fluff type, fight that doesn't have any real competitive matchupness to it, matchupness. I just made that up.
Robin,
But, tweak it, please, guys. Tweak it.
yes, please. Robin, anything else you want to say? I'm about to close shop for the night.
No, my blood pressure is up.
Uh-oh, he mad about this DAZN. You done talk down DAZN. Lucas, you in trouble.
I want boxing to do well. I love boxing, but boxing is something that is not hot anymore. It's almost like an outsider sport. It is the black sheep. You don't hear anything about boxing. It is few far between. It nobody even cares about it. It is not in mainstream media at all.
Right.
Certainly not American mainstream media. We as Americans have to change something. We have to get back into the sport. I don't know if that means more recruitment, but I think we're losing a lot of athletes into other sports. Nobody wants to take that hard road, and the life of a boxer is definitely a hard road. People are seeing that other sports a little bit easier, and they don't get beat the fuck up doing it. But we need.
Well, we can always go to the UK. I mean, they still got some diehard fans over there, baby. It's still big over there. Like I
That's
can't
true.
wait. That's still on my bucket list to go over there and sing "Sweet Caroline" in the middle of a huge ass UK fan base.
That is tight.
Yes, like that would be epic.
But maybe I'm just calling out America and America's youth.
Yeah.
Stop being some pussies. We need more fighters. Man the fuck up. As
you
always,
saying that, but I ain't heard you say you taking your boys to no boxing gym.
I would want to, but they don't have any. They don't like anything I like. I like football and boxing. That's what I watch, right? They like baseball and basketball. And I hate basketball, but it is what it is. I'm gonna try to get them to learn it, but we'll see. But yeah, no, Americans, please get your kids into boxing, drop them off in any local gyms. The local gyms themselves are dying. So is boxing dying? I think it's slow, painful death, and I've been watching it. It's a struggle. Please tune in on all of our social media at Heavy Bag Boxing, and we'll see you again next week.